Good morning, guys. How are you?
Good.
Good. So today we're going to be talking about user interface. Can anybody tell me what they think user interface is? Go ahead, CJ.
Is that like how the player controls like their character?
It's exactly right. It's how the player controls their character. So let's think back to some of the games that we've played kind of in the past. Anthony, give me an example of a game that you've played and how you controlled the character.
Like played Pac-Man, and when you control it controls which direction the character moves and where it goes on the screen.
Exactly. And Mateo, how about you?
Galaga, where the score is now? The joystick.
The joystick, exactly. How about PS2 lovers? Emily, what do you use in PS2? A controller, exactly. So user interface really focuses on how the player can control the game. So for today, our standard is going to cover, again, game design process. Yes, Nathan?
Does user interface also deal with like first person or third person?
That is perspective.
Wow.
Okay. That's perspective, but this would cover the game design process. So when we go to our standard, it's all about game design process. We're introducing user interface, and we're really kind of figuring out how the player controls the game in a gaming environment. So we've already kind of talked about user interface and exactly what is it. We use the short term UI as user interface. But again, just like CJ said already, it's what the player uses to control the game and how the player controls the characters. So if you're playing Grand Theft Auto, you are the player essentially, and you're controlling what's happening in the game using a controller or a joystick or some form of a user interface output to help you control what's happening. We've already come up with some examples, so we said a controller. How many of you have played Guitar Hero? Okay, your guitar was your UI. Your guitar was what you did or what you used to control what was happening in the game. And then, of course, we have our joystick. So what you're going to work on today is you're going to create a user interface infographic. And I'll go show you an example of what I would like for this to look like. And then what we will do is come up with a way, and I'll walk you through how we can actually use this. So what you can probably see on screen is that this is a really nicely designed infographic. It's very organized. It kind of all fits together. But what I've done is I've included the name of the game. I said I've used what type of controller, and I've showed you the controller I'm using. And then what I have done on here is used each key or each button on the controller as part of my user interface. I'm telling somebody what is kind of happening when I do each task within that game. So how many of you have played Donkey Kong Country 2? Okay, some maybe not. So whenever I use the control pad on the left-hand side, so it would be using this, that moves my character from left to right. Now, alternatively, I do have up and down, but most of the time we're using the left and right. We do use up when we're jumping, and we do use down when we're kind of taking cover and maybe blocking ourselves from an enemy. And then we use B to jump. We use A to team up, which means Diddy Kong or Dixie Kong will jump on each other. And then you use X to dismount, so you jump off from that character. Y is to run or perform any of those special features that those characters have. So what I have done here is someone who has never played this game now knows how to control the characters in this game without never have played it before. So your task today is going to create something that looks like this. And you're going to pick a game of your choice. It could be any game that you think that you like best. And then you'll show me an example of the game and as well as list the user interface controls. So you're probably wondering, well, this looks really nice, Ms. Redis. What did you create it with? Well, I created this graphic using something called Piktochart. Have any of you used Piktochart before? No? Great. So what I want you to do, go ahead and open up your internet browser, okay? And I want you to navigate to Piktochart.com. Okay, Piktochart.com. Yes, ma'am. Yep, go ahead. And so once you get to Piktochart.com, you're going to need to log in. What I want you all to do is log in with Google. And then it's probably going to ask you to fill out some of these criteria. If you've already created an account, thank you. And then once you log in, you will see, give me just a second to show you. So you should see something that looks kind of like this on screen. Is everyone there in that place? Yes? Great. So what a Piktochart is it's a nicely designed infographic that allows you to take information and then apply it into a pre-designed template. And then it allows you to use the informational pieces such as the template placeholders, as well as some of the pictures that are already there in the library. But you can also incorporate some of your own. So I'm going to choose up at the top your project format. We have infographic, presentation, poster, or report. For this one, we're creating an infographic. So up in this project format, you want to go ahead and click infographic. Okay? And then within here, you kind of get a bunch of different templates. Remember, aesthetic competence kind of tells us what? Who remembers what aesthetic competence is, Nathan?
It's when there's something that's pleasing to the eye.
Exactly, it's when something is pleasing to the eye. And so I think that all of us would probably agree that all of these templates that are predefined are really pleasing to the eye. They look really nice, the text is in a nice size, the pictures that are kind of on there are not too little or not too much. But we have the option to use some of these. So for this one, I'm just going to go ahead and click on the Startup Basic. And as you click on the infographic, you have a magnifying glass, and then you also have a button called Create. So if you will create. And then you kind of see in here that we have some tools that we can use to help us create our infographic. So over here on the left-hand side, we have graphics, which graphics we know are what? Anybody? Pictures?
Pictures.
Pictures, yeah, pictures. So graphics are pictures. We can use different kinds of photos to choose from, or we can kind of upload our own by using the uploads. A lot of you already know how to upload, so it's really just finding a different method to do so, such as in here. We also have the color of our background. We already know about opacity. We also see the different choices of backgrounds that we have here. We can choose one of those. So if I choose maybe the stripes, then it will apply kind of out in my background. I also have under text the different variations in text that I can use to help make my infographic stand out in different areas. Taking it back to the center, if we're kind of looking there in the center, and of course I'm going to zoom out, these are placeholders, and within these placeholders you really can kind of just change the text, and you can just change the appearance of the infographic. Of course, one of the really cool things about Piktochart is while we're looking at this, it's telling you exactly a guide to create how to create your infographic. It's telling you what should be where and how it should be. So can anyone think of a reason why Piktochart would be better than using something like Microsoft Word?
Because it'll like give you a tutorial.
Yeah,
Like show you how to make it all in the go.
exactly. It gives you that. What else?
feel like you can put more detail into it.
You definitely can put more detail into it. Yep.
More user friendly?
Definitely more user-friendly. One of my favorite things about Piktochart is we can also create an interactive type infographic where you can actually embed some media in there and be able to create an infographic that's interactive for your potential watcher.